will be based on the theme, the power of love. And our reflections are based on a transpersonal perspective, considering the immortality of the soul. So let's go together, understanding a bit about the theme, the power of love. We start with reflections in the Spirit's book, question 625. What is the perfect standard that God has offered to humankind as a guide and model? Then the Enlightened Spirits responded, Jesus. In this day, better saying, 25th of December on earth, Jesus is mentioned quite a lot, is commemorated a lot in his name. Is he considered our guide and model? Is a question that we leave for our reflections. Jesus in reality was not born on the 25th. But although these historical elements that we can find, is still a lot of us on earth remember Jesus. A lot of us as spirits on earth are trying to be better, are trying to be good, are trying to do good, and that is good for everyone. Because that creates a psychosphere on earth that somehow a lot of us can feel the goodness in the air. And that is good for us who already are moving spiritually and cooperating in creating this atmosphere. For us here in this moment, we are also thinking beyond this day, beyond these temporary considerations. And then we see the Spirit Joana de Angelis, a great benefactor who is helping humanity to evolve, to grow, to promote. And in her book, Lições para a Felicidade, she teaches us by saying, Jesus transcends everything that humanity has ever known and studied. We may question ourselves, are we willing to study his message? Because he came to earth in helping us to understand life from a transpersonal perspective, from a perspective of the natural laws in life. And we are here with the possibility to open our hearts and minds and renew and expand and progress in our understandings as long as we are willing to. Still, Joana de Angelis says, Jesus, educator per excellence, he awakened the interest of his listeners, maintaining dialogues passed on from uncommon psychological abilities in order to tackle the core of existential problems without allowing reproach or disdain. All the messages from Jesus, or the lessons, and also from his, let's say, servants who came to help us, expanding his teachings, helping us to understand. They all are here to promote self-awareness, self-understanding. And as the benefactor here is saying, he brought the ability to dialogue with each one of us on that day, since then, and in every day, even today and beyond today. Because his message is not for one day, it's for every day in our existences, helping us to bring meaning to our existential problems, which are lessons, which are experiences, so that we can promote ourselves in the real meaning of Christmas, or of the real meaning that Jesus brought to earth, helping us to bring fulfillment and understanding. Exceptional psychotherapists identified conflicts without making necessary the verbalization by the patient, helping him to dignify and free himself from the disturbing experiences in a climate of true brotherhood. Jesus is the greatest psychotherapist of all. In this day that we remember so much his name, what are our intentions? What are our motivations when we remember him or when we celebrate him? Are we willing to be helped by him? Are we willing to listen to his message, which he is presented to humanity more than 2,000 years ago? In terms of developing, be willing to develop further our brotherhood, understanding that we are all part of a greater family, although we have the corporeal family, but it goes beyond that. Brotherhood. What comes to our minds? What do we feel in our hearts? Jesus, Christmas, love. Let's think about these things. The affinity between the behavior of Jesus with man and the commitment of current psychotherapy in relation to the patient finds, therefore, a deep foundation in the facts. Jesus called on man to become what he can and must be. The contribution of psychotherapy is also in the effort to help man become what he can and should be. And that is presented by Hannah Wolf in her book, Jesus Psicoterapeuta. We can see here there are different beings on earth, researchers, scientists, who are referring to Jesus, helping us to reflect about what he means in our existence, what he represents in our existences in this day and in every day. Jesus been on earth many years back with the objective in helping us to awake spiritually. That was the real meaning in life. Cannot be a message for one day, for a couple of hours. It is a message to help us to understand that we are immortal beings, created by God with love in order to learn to love one another. In this day, are we trying to love one another with those which we are with? And in every day, are we exercising brotherhood? Loving one another is a message of respecting each other. Celebrating Christ within means the willingness to expand self-love, which is the fulfilling our minds and hearts with goodness and allowing it to transcend around us with all of those who are with us or we are with them. Jesus knew that love is the greatest source of motivation, of changing memory patterns and inner transformation, as Augusto Curi in his book O Mestre do Amor is reflecting. Love is the great, as Jesus teaches us, love is the greatest source of motivation. Are we motivating now in order to change our belief systems, in order to promote our memories, the patterns, the values, the conditions that we are inheriting, sometimes for centuries? Bearing in mind that we are all in the path of evolution. Evolution means change. Change in thinking, in habits, in tendencies, in values. Engaging in the inner transformation, meaning exactly that, transforming ideas, renewing ideas, concepts, values. And as we start our reflections today, expanding within a transpersonal perspective of existence, not a local, not a temporal. Christ did not make his memory a dump because he did not keep hurt from anyone. He could be offended and insulted, but the offenses did not invade the territory of his emotions. The psychology of forgiveness that he widely disseminated not only relieved the forgiving people, but turned them into free and tranquil people. It still is Augusto Cury in his book O Mestre da Sensibilidade, helping us in this day to advance our capacity of reflecting when we think about Jesus or when we talk about him. He lived amongst men, amongst us, to come to teach us how to live in a better way amongst each other. Are we in this day and always trying to exercise the forgiveness? Because he never felt offended when insulted. Because he was already love in essence. And through his way of being, he was trying to communicate that to us so that we also can gradually promote us, to free ourselves from ourselves in every element and tendencies which is in discord with love in itself. Are we ready for that? Are we willing? Are we feeling that that is a good proposal in our existences? Personally, I do. Only the one who is free within is not a slave of his reactions. Where are we? The power of now. Where we are thinking about Jesus, Christmas, and love. The power of love is the essence of the message of Jesus. But when we say the power of love, we are not talking about the immature love, the love which still feels hurted, which still feels resented. No. We are talking about the love that frees us from us. Christmas is about love, isn't it? But it's not about talking about love. It's about feeling love in our hearts, in our consciousness. Jesus emphasizes the fact that self-encounter is a fundamental right given by God, which can and must be fulfilled, as it is a supreme privilege and therefore also a supreme duty. As again Hannah Wolf, in her book Jesus Psicoterapeuta, is reflecting on. Self-encounter is a fundamental right given by God to meet us, to go in the direction of ourselves. Christmas, Jesus, love. Where is our focus? Where are we looking at? How are we feeling today? What is our priority today? Is it really, truly, fully Jesus within us? Good, if that is the case. And within whatever we are choosing to do today, is Jesus the focus of everything that we do? Is his message the focus of everything that we choose to do and with everyone which we engage today? And therefore also in every day in our existences. Are we already in a stage of consciousness that we can perceive that the message of Jesus goes well beyond materialistic celebrations, although we are entitled to engage in them if we wish so? But Jesus' message goes well beyond one day, one occasion. It is invitation to celebrate Him in every day and every occasion with everyone as we improve. Jesus Christmas is always a renewing invitation to a rereading of His message, to new reflections around His words of light, to the revivification of His projects of love for humanity. As again is the benefactor Joana de Ângeles in her book, Lições para a Felicidade. Jesus Christmas is always, in every day, in every moment, in our existences, not only in this existence, but also the others. A renewing invitation to reread His message. In this day, today, are we willing to renew the invitation of reading Jesus' message around His words of light, of revivification, of His project of love for humanity? Where is our focus today? Within us, what we want, within our corporeal family, within our spiritual family, our universal family. Where are our reflections? When we talk about Jesus, when we say that we celebrate Jesus, what actually are our inner messages, our intentions, our motivations? Are we moved by love in everything that we choose today and every day? Are we choosing to move ourselves gradually more and more towards a real love, understanding that Jesus' message is a message of freeing ourselves from ourselves in every day, so that we can develop the ability to love in all moments? The joy that must dominate those who love Him, evoking His credo, instead of being riddled and agitated. It must be spread as a contribution to reduce afflictions and modify the structures of the current society. Working in order to provide happiness, opportunity for growth, dignity, health, and education for all people. So when we are celebrating Christmas, supposed to be the celebration of Christ, do we love Him? Do we love His precepts, His message? Are we helping to reduce pain and suffering on earth? In this day, today, referring to Jesus, are we doing something to modify the structures of the current society? It's starting within ourselves, because every modification, every improvement, it starts on the individual. Are we working today when we celebrate Jesus' birth, which in reality, from a transpersonal perspective, should be a birth, a renewal within, in terms of ideas, precepts, values, acts? Therefore, are we choosing to be providing happiness beyond our family, or even within our family, but not only our biological family? Are we favoring dignity within ourselves and around ourselves, in our celebrations, remembering Jesus? What is our focus? Do not waste the opportunity to demonstrate that Jesus Christmas is a permanent commitment of love between heaven and earth. Through him, as he has made the bridge between man and God, and that he remains vigilant and friendly, ready to help and lead all of those who wish plenitude. That is what we are invited to reflect with the benefactor Joana de Angelis. Not to waste the opportunity to demonstrate that Christmas is a permanent commitment of love, not only one day, and surely has nothing to do in giving material gifts. Not that we are not entitled to do that if we wish to and if we have the conditions. But Jesus' message is for everyone, even those who are deprived of financial resources. Because Jesus' message is about love, and is us to choose to commit ourselves with that message in learning to bring it in our way of being and helping others, not only today, helping in all levels that people are needed, especially those that we are close right now in this day. How are we celebrating Christmas? Peacefully? In harmony? Considering that we are all brothers and sisters in a spirit? Can we tolerate those who are around us? What are our intentions in preparing our celebration? Are they coming from an altruistic heart? Are they coming from a simple mind? Are they coming from a loving heart within? Which message are we sending out through our choices today? Through our thoughts, through our feelings, through our actions. Which message are we sending to the universe as learners of Jesus' message, which is an invitation for us to compromise ourselves, to love one another? Love of God means the respect and the life-preserving action in all its expressions, becoming an integral part of Him, conscious of the cosmic whole. Jesus, the Son of God, who came to teach us to love God as our Father, the merciful Father, developing the expansion of our consciousness that we are all united in the universe through the love of God. Are we conscious of this reality today? Are we willing to think about a bit while we are in a festive period? But what are the causes within as we go through the festive period? What are the inner drives in these transitory experiences? Love of neighbor is consequence of the one who dedicates himself to the Father, God, demonstrating the brotherhood that must unite all for being his children that march back to his womb. Where are we today? What are the reasons and causes that moves us to celebrate Jesus? From which dimension within ourselves are we coming from? Do we have time to address our own reflections, our own connection, our own relationship with Jesus and his message? Are we willing to live accordingly during our earthly celebrations? Do we also have already maturity, spiritually speaking, that we can also consider our universal family and having time even to send a loving thought to those who are suffering, those who are in pain, those who are lonely? Do we have that inner space? Love oneself without ego passion raises it to the culmination of plenitude, helping it in the development of the ignored treasures that lie dormant. What are our dormant treasures? Are waiting for us to stimulate them. Love oneself. It is an invitation for us to transcend our ego's passions, the selfish way of living, the selfish way of relating. Are we ready for that? Then Dr. Mark Baker, in his book, Jesus, the Greatest Therapist Who Ever Lived, is teaching us by saying, Jesus thought what psychologists believe today, that it is better to consciously choose what we believe in the present than to unconsciously follow the patterns of the past. What a great wisdom. Christmas, Jesus. What are our unconscious patterns? Because we are immortal beings and we have been living in different existences, considering our immortality. Therefore, we went through a lot of experiences already. What do we believe in the present? What are our values or beliefs? Are we still based on beliefs that are collective, part of the massification, what everyone does, we go and do without reflecting, without analyzing, without knowing even sometimes the cause and the reason, we just go and do in a very automatic way? Or have we already put effort into to promote our consciousness beyond that? Have we already investing in developing our individuality based on the natural laws in the universe, considering Jesus' message? If we did that, or if we are doing that right now, surely we are more centered. We also are feeling that we are united as brothers and sisters in humanity, in this day and every day. Bear in mind that Jesus is inviting us, all of us, more than 2,000 years ago, to learn to love each other. That is the major lesson and the major reason to celebrate in our hearts and minds in this constant training and exercise and self-commitment, because no one can force us. And also the Enlightened Spirits don't force anything upon us. They leave their reflections for us to reflect and choose today or whenever we are willing to do that. And it's still Dr. Martin Baker carries on by saying, remembering the birth of Jesus, reach out everywhere, where hunger, orphanhood, abandonment, disease, and rebellion take refuge, to translate the sounds of the angels in the holy night, so that all of them, our suffering brothers, feel Jesus being born in the country of their spirits, as in your own, announcing new times of justice and peace among the creatures of goodwill on earth. Are we willing to exercise goodwill? Are we willing to be a servant of Christ in practicing charity? Do we have time to live and celebrate with our biological family from a transpersonal, holistic perspective of inclusion, of brotherhood? Are we allowing the Jesus' birth within our hearts, within our minds, within our ideas? Are we willing to allow that the message of Jesus, which is peace on earth, predominates in our inner world today and always. Christmas celebrates the birth of the Spirit whose incarnation symbolizes love and abnegation. The sublime Spirit is enclosed in the flesh, devotedly animated by love. It is for us the feast of self-forgetfulness. William, in his books Ensinos Espiritualistas, is helping us in our reflections. As we started our reflections here today based on the power of love, every single slide is a deep reflection where we are, what we are doing today, from which perspective, and where are we directing us through the temporary experiences on earth. That is helping us to forget a bit about our selfishness, only me and mine. Jesus came to earth to teach us as a universal family. So dedicate ourselves to promote the goodness within and around those that we are biologically together today, but we can also embrace our universal family if we are willing to have some moments to pray for those who are in suffering, for those who are with us in spirit and are suffering. In that way, we are celebrating the birth of Jesus within us, without the need of any materialistic element, only expanding goodness and love within and spreading it around us. Then Joana de Anjos is helping us in the book O Ser Consciente. Wake up, meaning, because Jesus' message should be awakening within. Awakening means identifying new resources within reach, discovering expressive value that are wasted, proposing new meanings for life previously unperceived. We are all on the journey of evolution. That means progressing. And no one of us can progress with the same ideas, with the same belief systems. Awakening means identifying new resources within reach, which are possible for us, discovering expressive values. Which kind of expressive values? That are proposing a new meaning for our existences. Then we can raise questions such as, what is Christmas for me? What does it mean? What comes up to me when I hear the word Jesus? What is life in my understanding? From which perspective am bringing these questions? What are my answers? Is life from a materialistic perspective? Or do I reflect about the life, considering the immortality of the soul? I am willing to discover the expressive values of forgiveness, of tolerance, of solidarity, of fraternity. Every one of us is invited to think about. Humility is the inner freedom that comes from the depths of the spirit, supporting him in his permanent renewal for good. Jesus was born on earth to invite all of us in every day, constantly, permanently, to renew our ideas, or sentiments, or emotions, or perceptions, or desires for better. As the gospel according to Spiritism teaches us, which is the essence of the message of Jesus, that we should learn to be gentle with others and very severe with us, severe in terms of very assertive, in order for us to promote self-love and promote love around us. Be free from everything that enslaves us to matter, be liberated in the way of relating with material goods and give up these as they imprison us and prevent us from spontaneously expressing our true essence, our true spiritual identity. Christmas, Jesus. Are we feeling free? Or are we feeling tense within? What is our true essence? Based on what? Are we really feeling tense and pressurized about the material goods? Do we have any unfriendly feeling in our hearts? Are we concerned in this day if someone gives us a present or not? Are we complaining about what we receive? Do we think that we deserve more of material presents? Or do we feel free within that they are secondary? That the greatest present we all already received from God, which is our reincarnation. Let's think about this. Free is the one who gives more, because the one who gives more is the one who has more to give, while the one who expects to be served and receive is the one who has less, because of few exercises in the sacred action of sharing what he temporarily possesses. Do we know that whatever we possess is temporary? That in reality, deep down, nothing belongs to us? Everything belongs to God. And we temporarily are having money or not, but it's temporary. So the one who gives more is able to share more through love, through compassion, through his time, through his resources, is the one who is more freer within. The power of love. Don't be afraid of sharing love. The real love will never end. As more as we share, as more as we give, more we have. Because it is in giving that we receive. Not gifts from a material perspective. We receive more peace in our minds, in our hearts. We receive more love from God because it is in giving our love, our time to other brothers and sisters in humanity, the children of God, that we connect with the greatest resource of love that comes from God. Is free who does not seek recognition, praise, projection of the ego in the tasks that performs, conditioning their peace and realization to what their own conscience informs them. Are we free? Or are we seeking recognition? In these days when we are celebrating Jesus' birth, are we seeking to be praised for what we did or what we are doing? Or are we free in our hearts that we are pleased in order to offer some good to others? Where are we? Do we still have the need to project the ego and demand recognition? In this day and always. The power of love is not something to be focused in one single day when we are immortal. It is a proposal to commit in every day. Is free the one who does not possess others, seeing them as objects without free will, and should live to satisfy all their desires. Jesus, Christmas, love. Do we think that the others belong to us? Being our partners, our children, or whoever, or parents. In reality, no one belongs to us. We don't belong to anyone. So let's take this day to reflect a bit about the real power of love. The real love frees us from us and frees us from everyone. That is not a proposal of indifference. That is a proposal of really allowing everyone to be in the best that they can be, and us to choose to be better than we are. That is inner freedom. That is celebrating Christ within. Jesus' message is summarizing love. So when we free ourselves, from our shadows, or limitations, or jealousy, or envy, or gossiping, all these vices, then we are loving us. We are reborn again. We are renewing ourselves. Is free who does not try to appear more than he is, nor feels diminished in case is not noticed in a place or in a meeting between people who are dear. Is free who knows that has limitations and qualifications, not judging himself inferior or superior to anyone. Christmas, Jesus, love. Let's not try to be who we aren't. Jesus' message, being love, it means to simplify our hearts. It is to choose to walk on the path of humbleness. That does not mean inferior complex. No. It means to accept ourselves as we are, as loving beings in essence. Imperfect, perfecting ourselves. Learners of ourselves. Understanding that we all have limitations, but we also have qualities. What are our qualities at present? Do we know? What are our limitations that we can choose to change in this day and every day, wherever we are? Which is a unique opportunity. Every second is a unique opportunity to develop more love within ourselves and around us. Is free who looks back without remorse, grudges, bending, and plans his tomorrow, with the eyes turned to today. What the present moment can offer as an opportunity for reconciliation with the past. Christmas, Jesus. Are we celebrating, or are we willing to celebrate, or are we considering to celebrate the possibility, the opportunity in every unique moment in the present to reconcile with our enemies? Bear in mind that the enemies are our own shadows. Are we willing to celebrate this opportunity to renew our understanding and choose to educate our thoughts in thinking that every human being is a child of God, and then we freely choose to learn, if we haven't yet, to perceive them from the eyes of the self? That is, to train ourselves to wish peace to every creature that is part of our existences. Not to focus on what they did wrong, according to our perceptions. Not to focus on their imperfections, but to focus on ours and put the efforts into perfecting us. That is, becoming better than we were yesterday, and tomorrow better than today. The power of love. The joy of living in the proper way to thank God for the blessings of reincarnation. The joy of living in the proper way. Do we have time today? Christmas, Jesus. To feel joy in our hearts because of our reincarnation in this existence? Do we have time today to thank God for everything what He granted to us, to promote us, to help us, to heal us? Reflections of today. And then the Spirit Joana de Ângeles comes back in her book, Atitudes Renovadas, by saying, Jesus Christmas is a poem of joy that comes from heaven towards the tormented earth, becoming a hymn of perennial beauty, which overlaps the noise of mockery and the turmoil of suffering. A poem of joy. Jesus Christmas is a constant invitation to love one another, to transcend our own imperfections and limitations. Is a message that comes from the superior world towards earth, which is inferior world because of our own inferiorities. Inviting every one of us to develop the beauty within. Inviting every one of us to be instrument of goodness within, without, around us. Inviting every one of us to celebrate within ourselves, to free ourselves from the sufferings that we created and bring within. To celebrate the possibility, the opportunity for us to develop altruism, to go out and also help others. That is the real meaning of Christmas, not only today, every day, all the time. It is a possibility available to everyone who is choosing to listen to and to follow it. This Christmas, sing a poem of love to Jesus, celebrating His birthday with your moral transformation for better, keeping your promise with Him and taking Him in the form of kindness and mercy. To all those who walk unsteadily in the shadows of pain, of revolt and social deprivation. Christmas, Jesus. What is the core drive within in this day? Do we have time to be better than ourselves than we were yesterday? Do we have time to pray for those who are suffering? Do we have time to live fraternally amongst each other in the biological families where we find ourselves, but from a spiritual perspective? Do we have time to think about all of those who don't have nothing? All of those who don't have anything to eat? Do we feel compassion towards them? Or are we willing to go out in our family setting, also involving us in the universal family? What is the drive within? Do we think that all the focus on the day needs to be in a biological family? Do we know what selfishness is in terms of our tendencies? Do we know what altruism means in terms of tendencies, values that we bring within? Are we already in a stage to celebrate Jesus within our hearts and minds amongst our biological families and beyond? Or not? Still Joana de Ângeles, in her book, Rejubila-te em Deus, she says, Christmas is more than a date chosen randomly in the calendar to mark the day of His birth. It is the moment when He, being born in your heart, begins to command your existence, build in it the kingdom of God that will spread throughout earth and make all creatures better and happier. Can we listen to this message? Are we open? Are we welcoming it? Because this is the message of a great spirit helping Jesus in awakening humanity. That was the reality of our existences on earth. Are we allowing Jesus to be born in our hearts so that he can command our existences? Or are we willing to reinforce our attachment to everything that is transitory? Some reflections, very deep. The birth of Jesus is the living and always fascinating history of the sublime Son of God, hiding himself in the world in order to free consciences and hearts with the Son of his unconditional love. Joana de Angelis, the spiritual benefactor. Does it resonate in our hearts? Are we willing to process it? Jesus came to earth in an unconditional love towards every being on earth. He still is with us. He still is the governor of earth, helping humanity to evolve, to progress. Therefore, the theme of today, the power of love. Is it touching us? Is it helping us to choose to be better than we were the moment before? The meaning and significance of earthly existence is to provide the spirit, in his reincarnation process, the dignified accomplishments of his commitments of love. It still is the spirit benefactor Joana de Angelis in her book Compromissos de Amor. We are in this school earth as immortal beings within a physical body, but we are not a physical body. In order for us to dignify our commitments with love, which we all are compromised with. Let's choose in this day and always to improve our abilities to serve. Because when Jesus came to earth to teach love, unconditional love, which we will all learn one day, and we are here to train ourselves gradually. He means actually for us to choose to let go the pathway in the learnings from a materialistic perspective of selfishness, and choosing to learn to serve others. That is the pathway of learning to develop love, serving, helping, cooperating in his school, in his project for humanity. It's not only today, it can be today, but the compromise is in every day, every moment, every second, all the time. Anonymous people sincerely turn to the good, serve selflessly, demonstrating that love is still the most valuable resource available to all for the building of happier society that will be installed in the world soon. The benefactor Joana de Angelis in her book Jesus e Vida. Are we already in a state of mind that we can serve anonymously? Do we understand that that action, that way of being, is an ability to demonstrate love for everyone? Even those that we think they don't love us, even those that may be rude to us, are we able from our hearts to still feel love towards them? Are we conscious that we are here with the blessings of Jesus, here on earth, with the blessings of Jesus for us to help to promote a better society? A better society, if we are choosing, we will be the students of tomorrow in this same society. So where is our focus today? In a simple second in our existence? Or are we already looking beyond it? Or are we engaging in this day from a transpersonal perspective, which is our internal commitment with us and God through Jesus? Calvin Coolidge says, Christmas is not a time nor a season, but a state of mind, to cherish peace and goodwill, to be plenteous in mercy, is to have the real spirit of Christmas. We see that a lot of children of God, those who have transcended more materiality, the material aspect of the experiences which are transitory, they all can perceive Jesus' message, Christmas, in a more profound way which transcends the material celebrations. They all are here, the same as the enlightened benefactor Joana de Angelis. Here we are talking about other beings, other people who study about Jesus' message, as Hannah Wolf, as we mentioned previously, as Augusto Cury, who has plenty of books, as other scientists, Mark Bake, as we mentioned already, a doctor who brings in the message of Jesus and is talking about Christmas from a different perspective, from a transpersonal viewpoint. We can also embark on this journey as learners as we are. Christmas is a state of mind based on the element essence of Jesus' message of love one another. That is the way that we will heal ourselves, that is the way that we will promote real happiness within ourselves on individual level, within our families on the corporeal level, within our universal family. Because we are already based on this level. We may not yet been attentive of that. Roy Smith says, he who has not Christmas in his heart will never find it under a tree. How much wisdom is in this statement? What is Christmas to us? From which perspective are we looking into it? Especially when we refer or associate Christmas with Jesus. He who has not Christmas in his heart, meaning Jesus, meaning love, will never find love under a tree, under a Christmas tree. Tony Sorenson states that don't get caught up in the wrapping paper and forget that the gift of Christmas is simply love. The essence of Christmas, the real essence is love, only that. Let's reflect on it and choose new ideas, new understandings, new perceptions, and compromise with them, because we are progressing, we are evolving, all of us. Janice Mediteri says, Christmas is not as much about opening our presents as opening our hearts. Dear friends, how much wisdom is in this reflection. Christmas is not as much about opening our presents as opening our hearts. So let's choose to open our hearts. Right now, where we are in this day, and continue this process throughout this day, incorporating it as a free choice in every day, As immortal beings who are on earth in order to learn to love ourselves, learn others, to love others, learn to love God, learn to love life, and serve for the good of all. Dale Evans says, Christmas, my child, is love in action. Love in action. It's no longer talking about love. It is acting. It is doing something to impact humanity in a positive, constructive way. Using our resources, all of them that we have available, to do something for the good of all. For that, we need to awake spiritually. We need to transcend physicality. Are we willing to do that? Are we willing to consider that? Thomas Monson says, the spirit of Christmas is the spirit of love and of generosity and of goodness. It illuminates the picture window of the soul, and we look up on the world's busy life and become more interested in people than in things. What is the core drive within ourselves today when we are celebrating Christmas? Is it people or things? Are we more concerned in relation to the perfect table Christmas, the perfect lunch? Are we more concerned about what others are gifting me with? Or is our core drive in the bottom of our hearts focus on people? How they are feeling? Offering a word of consolation? Is our focus on people so that we choose in this moment, celebrate the ability, the opportunity to train forgiveness? Think about. Henry Engring says, you can give a great and wonderful Christmas if you remember the gifts God has given you, and as the best you can, offer them to others as He would. That is the spirit of Christmas and of true happiness every day. What are the gifts that God gave to each one of us for us to share with others? I can assure you that rarely it has to do with money. What are the gifts that God gives us for us to share with everyone, everywhere, every day? The possibility to forgive each other, for sure. The possibility to learn to love one another, because we still need to forgive because we are not able to love. The possibility to be more tolerant towards others. The possibility to reconsider when they are harsh with us. And continuously persisting in loving as a response. Loving means respecting, the ability to silence in order that the harmony within the family, the biological and universal family prevails. As we already know, we cannot run away from each other, although physically we can do that, but spiritually we cannot. Because we are united and connected to the love of God. William Parks states, Christmas is not just a day, an event to be observed and speedily forgotten. It is a spirit which should permeate every part of our lives. Definitely. Celebrating Jesus or remember Jesus is not about a day or an event. It is a state of mind. It is a permanent aspect of growing in love within. And love means to fulfill the duty of our consciousness, which is to do good, everywhere, with everyone, all the time, every day. Helen Steiner Rice says, peace on earth will come to stay when we live Christmas every day. When we live Jesus' message every day. Because unfortunately, in celebrating Christmas, there is also a lot of disturbance through our selfishness, through our pride, through our vanity, through our materialistic perspective, what Christmas should be, and it's not. Let's choose this day to exercise peace within and offer that to the others, even as we are training, practicing love, so that we can feel the power of love within ourselves. But bear in mind that is not referring to one day only. Jesus' message is profound, deep, and is forever. Mother Teresa of Calcutta is teaching us, or taught us while she was on earth. It is Christmas every time you let God love others through you. Do we understand what she meant? It is Christmas every time you, me and you, let God love others through you. Are we instruments of God that He can love others? That is Christmas, on a deeper sense, every day, everywhere, with everyone, permanently. Benjamin Franklin says, a good conscience is a continual Christmas. When we exercise goodness within, it is a constant Christmas in our existences. Think about it. Let's choose and actualize ourselves. Robert Hunter said, the real Christmas comes to him who has taken Christ into his life as a moving, dynamic, vitalizing force. Have we chosen already to take Christ into our lives? And as it says, and if we do, it will be a dynamic movement of goodness, a dynamic force within which drives us to serve and serve and serve others. With more disposition, with more internal force, which is the power of love that we bring within, that we are freely choosing to exercise and practice and live every day. And in that way, reinforcing that power in each moment that we practice it. Mother Teresa carries on saying, yesterday is gone, tomorrow has not yet come. We have only today. Let us begin. Do we accept her invitation? Are we willing to? It's up to us. And then we finalize by thinking. Jesus said, I have come into the world as a light, so that no one who believes in me should stay in darkness. The power of love. Jesus, Christmas. He is with us. He is talking to every one of us. When he says, I have come into the world as a light, so no one who believes in me should stay in darkness. Jesus is the light on earth. Jesus is the love for all of us. If you open our hearts and minds and consider his unconditional love towards every and each one of us, we choose to celebrate every moment in our existences, which are transitory, in training and practicing to be more charitable. Charitable in a deep sense, to learn to forgive everyone, everything, everywhere. Constantly. To choose to learn to be more benevolent. Practicing goodness, although it is challenging for us as learners, but we can do it. We are capable if we are willing to. Is choosing to be more indulgent towards others. In every day, in every moment, knowing that yes, it is challenging, but it's possible if we are willing to, if we are choosing so. Jesus is goodness within every human being. Let's embrace us as brothers and sisters in humanity as we are. And through these reflections, open our minds and hearts to embracing us as the universal family, celebrating the birth of Jesus in our hearts and minds, within our biological families and beyond them. Let's pray and asking Jesus to bless earth and everyone who is on earth. May your peace be amongst all of those who are remembering your name, and also those who don't, because we all have so different beliefs. But may your love, dear Lord, be with all of us. Not only today, but always help us so that we can awake from within and feel the power of love that every and each one of us carries within, and choose to exercise and train, understanding and learning for those who are more evolved than us when they say, love is goodness in action. Love is a dynamic energy that moves constantly, improving, cooperating, integrating, helping, sustaining the proposal of goodness, developing humbleness of heart, simplicity, forgiveness, tolerance, patience, brotherhood, solidarity, charity, willingness to cooperate for the good of all in every moment in our existences. And in that way, with our hearts full of love and gratitude for the reflections that have been presented to us, to help us also to grow, to promote, to progress towards the greatest love in the universe that comes from God, as we are learning with Jesus and allowing his message to be awaking from within us in all the days and moments in our existences. So in that way, we are coming to the end, wishing you much peace today and in every day of your existences, always bearing in mind that the greatest power in the universe is love. It's the love that comes from God. It's the love that comes from Jesus, which is moving everything and everyone towards betterment, towards improvement, towards unity that unites us. Through love, with love, today, tomorrow, and always. Much peace to all.